Welcome to Blake Street Banter, where one of us knows what the word banter means, the other two are along for the ride. James, say hi.
Hey,
And we are here with Wynton Bernard, the outfielder for the Albuquerque Isotopes. What's up, Wynton?
How's it going?
Good. Glad we're here doing this thing. I'm gonna be honest right up front with you. You are your interview is a little bit different for us because we've talked to a lot of guys that were like drafted last year, 2 years ago, and haven't been the veteran presence that you have. So I'm really excited just to dive into your career here.
Appreciate that.
So let's dive into it. How did you end up at Niagara University? So I saw that you were at community college in San Diego area where you grew up. Then you end up out at Niagara and did great in the classroom and outside of the classroom. And just like, how did you get there? And what was that about?
Yeah, so I went to Rancho Bernardo High School in San Diego, and I was getting recruited by some big schools, but nobody really wanted to offer me a full ride or even like a partial scholarship. So I talked to my parents about it, and I actually ended up going to Niagara my freshman year and then transferring home my sophomore year to community college, and then I went back my junior year.
Okay.
But I actually went to a Clemson camp. I wanted to go to school in the South, and there was a coach from Duquesne who was at the Clemson camp. He saw me. He really liked me. He told the coach at Duquesne, he said, hey, you got to get this kid. He's getting recruited by some big schools on the West Coast. And the coach was like, I don't know if I want to do it. So he's like, well, I'll get you to go to Duquesne. Well, Duquesne said no, too. So then he's like, all right, I'm going to call some schools on the East Coast for you. And the first school he called was Niagara. And then Niagara called me like the next day. And the coach, he offered me like right away. So it was pretty sweet.
Yeah. Kind of being bounced around. Did that defeat you at all? Like,
I was just frustrated because, I thought I was better. And I didn't understand like why none of the coaches would give me opportunities. And so but at the same time, I was thankful that, Niagara gave me a chance. And the coach hadn't even seen me play in person, but he based his recommendations off a whole bunch of travel coaches. My high school coach actually said some bad things. So he took away the scholarship, and then he called me back the next day and he was like, you know what? He's like, we talked to like 3 other coaches and they said you're a great player. So we'll take you back. So I was like, all right, I'm all in.
wow. That's wild.
yeah, that's crazy. That's a roller coaster for sure.
Oh yeah, it was a big roller coaster. I wanted to stay home, like closer to San Diego, but at the same time, my brothers, they went off. One went to UNM, one went to Davidson. So my parents were like, go wherever you're wanted.
You didn't want the bustling climate of Niagara?
It's funny. I didn't think it was going to be that bad. And my head coach, Coach McCoy, he told me, he's like, yeah, you're only like a couple hours away from New York City. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll be there all the time. It's like 6 hours away. Like never went there one time. It was terrible.
Well, I mean, at least he was right. You were a lot closer to New York than you were before, but
I know, right?
Not far.
yeah. So I'm obviously playing winter league ball. You've been all over the world: Venezuela, Australia, Mexico, Dominican. What was your favorite place to play during those times? What was your favorite winter league?
Wow, that's tough. Every single winter league has its best. So Dominican, I think the Dominican has the best competition. Australia, just the playing experience, like the team camaraderie, it was so close. In Mexico, the fans there were crazy. Venezuela, the same type of thing. It was just kind of a crazy atmosphere. I think overall my favorite was probably Venezuela in terms of the baseball experience, just because everybody we got fans throwing beer bottles at you. You got, every single pitch they're into the game. It's unbelievable. Really? I love that atmosphere. There's 20,000 at the game. They treat it it's like the major leagues here, but it seems more intense. So I'll probably say Venezuela for the baseball experience, or Mexico would be a close second.
Yeah, I don't say this as a knock against major league fans at all, but I mean, they're pretty tame for the most part. If you watch, for example, I've seen some documentaries and things about just Japanese baseball, and they treat it like a World Cup soccer game. I mean, you got chants and Venezuelas and all kinds of stuff, songs, everything.
I know. I kind of wish it was like that here.
Yeah, it'd be a different experience for sure. It'd be a lot more fun.
Absolutely.
I think.
Yeah.
I agree.
Oakland tried to do that in the right field a little bit, and they kind of got dogged for it. Like, this isn't baseball fandom, and that's kind of gone down the hill a little bit. That makes
Well, you got to be polite. You know that, right?
they had the drummers in the back, and they had the whole thing going. It was fun. You played in Australia at the same time. Friend of the pod, Taylor Snyder did. Did you play against him? Do you remember him at all? Like, it was pretty crazy. Your timelines matched up.
Yeah, but we made that connection in spring training. I think he added me on Instagram. He's like, "Wait, you were in Brisbane?" And then there was a clip of me hitting a home run on Instagram, and he was like, "That's me right there at shortstop." I was like, "Wait, no way." So yeah, we kind of made that connection. It talked about like our experience there. We both had a super good time. You play 3 or 4 times a week. You get your work in, and then you can go to the beach after. Competitions, it's still good. I mean, it was a really good league. And yeah, it was pretty cool that we got to play against each other. There's a couple guys I played against, and we figured out later on that we didn't know at the time we were playing against each other.
It's kind of funny from a fan's perspective, minor league ball and all the farm systems and things. It seems kind of overwhelming trying to keep up with how many guys are in a farm system, but it seems like it really is kind of a small world as a players.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I mean, I was talking to our starter last night, Frank Duncan. We played against each other in 2017. I was with the River Cats. He was with the Aces. And Greg Bird, we played against each other in a college summer league, and we figured that out. Like, too. We were like, wait, what? He said he was playing in Vegas. I was like, why were you in Vegas? He's from, the East Coast. And he goes, I was in the California Collegiate League. I was like, I was in that league. We made that connection too. It's a really small world.
Yeah, it really is.
That's fun. I do want to ask you one more question about the Dominican Winter League. So you played there for like 5-6 games right before this season started, and you played with your main Mercedes. I can't ever say his name right. Like, did he just look different at the end of that season? Like, when you were playing with them, and like, to be this guy that came out super hot at the beginning of 2021, like, could you see that in him, like that independent ball turning into pro?
Absolutely. He was good, man. There's so many guys that are like top notch, and I think it's just about basically getting that opportunity. There was a couple really good guys on that team, but he actually did stand out. There's some balls he would absolutely blast. I like his 2-strike approach, where sometimes he doesn't do his like big old lay kick, and he's still smacking the ball. I mean, they didn't have exit velocities down there, but they had to be 105, 110 miles an hour. He was crushing the ball down there, and he's really, really big. Like, you have to see him in person. He's yoked. He's stacked.
He really is as big as he looks on TV. He's huge. Giant. That's crazy. So what's it like being fast? Like, I always think about that. There's that play that probably happened about a month ago in Albuquerque, and that stupid hill that they still have out there. You ran out there, you tripped, and you're waving, and then I think you stole a few bases, either that game or that series. And just like, you're 30ish, you're that 30 time, you're still fast and doing your thing, and just, can I live through you for a little bit and like walk me through like that catch and stealing bases and stuff? Like, what's your mentality with all that?
All right. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's truly a blessing, because I know a lot of guys, they start slowing down, but this off season, my trainer was like, man, he's like, how are you PRing at 30? He's like, this makes no sense. And I was just proud of myself, because I try to take care of my body the best I can. And my goal when I first started playing, and my parents' goal, they were like, we want to be able to have you maintain. So longevity. So take your vitamins, eat healthy. And I actually really think that's truly paid off, because I haven't slowed down at all. And when it comes into the game, I'm always trying to like steal base from my teammates or make a play in the outfield for the pitchers. They get all excited, so that makes me all excited. So anything I could do to help them out and help the team out, it honestly does. It goes a long way. That play on the hill was funny, because I was so happy I caught it. And so that was like Siri, Jose Siri, he's an outfielder. He does a whole bunch of antics all the time. He's a really good player. But a couple guys on their team asked me that, like, were you blowing the kiss at Siri? I was like, no, that wasn't it. I was genuinely glad I caught it, and those were like true emotions. I just was into the game. I like blew the kiss towards the fans. Like I was happy for myself. I was happy that we caught it. It was a big situation. I think it was the 8th inning, like close
Yeah.
ball game. So I don't know, man. It's fun. Like I said, I'm truly blessed to maintain my speed, and hopefully I can keep it going. I know like guys like Rajay Davis, they were fast until he stopped playing. He stole bases his whole career until his like late 30s. So I want to be the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, this year,
stealing the base.
this year you scored from second on a ground ball back up to the pitcher. Do you remember that play?
Yeah,
Walk us through that one.
My manager was giving me some love. Schaefer, he really liked that play too, and the guys were all pumped up. I don't think I've done that. I don't think I've done that before. So
I watched the highlight a couple times, and you can't see when he throws it to first base for the out, for the force out. You can't see what you're doing over on third base. Like if you're trying to read it, or if you're just coming around, head down, full of steam. You can't really see what your mindset is or what you're thinking in that moment.
Yeah, I was making sure he went to first, so I was still rounding it pretty hard. And if he was going to pick back over to third, I was going to go back. But it was kind of like a small little hesitation, and then I just took off once I saw him like go to first.
Just it's absolutely incredible. What would be your like cool play? We have this argument all the time. Would we rather strike out the last batter or have a walk-off home run? What about you? Do you like the stolen base late in the game, or that catch like out in the outfield, that cool defensive play out in the outfield late in the game?
Wow, that's really tough. I'm gonna have to go with the stolen base though, because there's so much. Usually when I come in, and I've done this before, like with the Cubs, they'd have me as like the 4th or 5th outfielder, and they're considering me, calling me up to the big leagues to just pinch run, and they would bring me in like 8th or 9th inning, and there's so much adrenaline, like I could really feel it, and everybody knows I'm gonna steal. The pitcher knows I'm gonna steal. The catcher knows I'm gonna steal. The whole stadium knows I'm gonna steal. And to be able to make it, if I do, hopefully I do. But to be able to make it, if I do, is just like once I get to second, I'm like, let's go. Like internally, I'm just so excited. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you have a chance to score. I think having a chance to score has a slight edge over making like a big, huge defensive play.
That's bigger for you.
Yeah.
So walk me through like what your leadoff at first. Like, what are you looking for at the pitcher? Are you looking for like, do you do tape? Like, do you look at tape of the pitcher and his pickoffs? Do you find patterns? Like, what's your mindset when you get to first and like looking for that stolen base?
Yeah, I usually just try to read his time, honestly. So I'll have the first base coach tell me if he's pretty quick to the plate or if he's not. If he's like a 1-2 or 1-3, that's a little bit quicker. But sometimes these pitchers, they'll come into habit. So he'll look down, he'll look up, and then he'll go. So I'll start the time even earlier. So I'll be like, oh, he's actually like a 1-4, 1-5, so I might be fine. But I generally look at his feet. And so I just try to go off of his leg lift. Like once he lifts that front foot up, then I'll take off. But some pitchers give it away too. You can see that they're gripping a breaking ball. So usually if they're gripping a breaking ball, they're not going to pick over. I might be able to get an extra step here or there. But yeah, just little nuances. I can pick up on anything I can.
That's cool. I always like the inside of the baseball player's mind because I coached Little League. I coached James so long ago. And one of the things that we'd always stress, like as a pitcher, don't do rhythms, do different things as all the time as you're pitching. But I never knew how to steal a base playing, so I never knew how to coach it. So I might have to bring that to the middle school team next season.
Well, from a pitching perspective, like it's so tiring constantly thinking about rhythms and looking over, and am I going to look twice or am I going to look 3 times and all that stuff. So I feel like it kind of plays into your hands a little bit that they just, for lack of a better term, get a little lazy, I guess.
No, it does for sure.
Yeah.
So I want to walk through your career a little bit. What did it mean to you? I would have to assume that you were a Padres fan growing up, being in that area. Yeah. Was that pretty dope, like getting drafted by your childhood team?
It was so sweet because I was all the way in Niagara, and I was like, what are the chances of that? You don't think that at the time. Like I was at Niagara and I get drafted still by the Padres. That was unbelievable.
It's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah. I was a huge Mike Cameron fan too, and like Tony Gwynn Jr. and all those guys coming up, Phil Plantier. I looked up to those guys, and that was the only game I had ever been to. I saw the Yankees play when I was in high school at Yankee Stadium, but they were playing against the Padres. But I had only been to like a few Padre games. That was the only team I really knew.
Mm-hmm.
I had been to quite a few major league games, and when you're younger, you really think that these major leaguers are like they're different types of people. Like they're not going to interact with you. They're just going to play their game, all that stuff. Mike Cameron really broke that barrier for me. He would always walk out in center field shagging balls during batting practice. He talks to every single person in center
Really?
field. Yeah, he would always do that. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're just like regular people.
Yeah.
When you're young, it's so important. It's so cool. And Mike Cameron's one of those guys that was awesome with it.
That's so sweet.
He was on MLB, like they did a roundtable thing a few weeks ago. He was there with Pedro. He like jumped on his Zoom after doing some stretches or something. He jumped on there with Pedro and Chris Young and some other guy, and they were just talking ball. But Mike Cameron, he was a riot the entire time. He would be fun. So I'm in Grand Rapids right now. You're familiar with. Yeah. So what was your time in Detroit playing for the affiliates and stuff? Because you went off in 14, 15, 16 and like really established yourself in that time. And like, just what was that time like? League MVP, all-star, high, what was that? Single A ball time, double A ball, like walk us through your time in Detroit as the Detroit affiliate.
All right. Yeah. So my first year was 14. And I don't know if you guys know the story, but I got released by the Padres in 13. I went to an open tryout, and it was funny. This guy got out of the car. He's like, hey, man, he's like, I don't even know who you are, but he's like, the look in your eye, he's like, you're going to get signed today. It was the craziest thing. When I tell people this, it's hard for them to believe. This guy named Benny Castillo, he's like, you're going to get signed today. And long story short, I got signed. I was like the only guy to sign. And so they sent me to single A, and one of the other outfielders got hurt. They told me I was going to be like the fourth or fifth outfielder. One of the guys got hurt, and I got my opportunity the first week of the season. And I just kind of took off from there. I had a really good season. I learned a lot of things. I learned how to steal bases. I had a good outfield coordinator, Gene Roof. My manager was good. He was from Australia, Andrew Graham.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to pick up on any little things I could from some of those Hall of Famers. Al Kaline, Alan Trammell was helping me out, Willie Horton. I mean, the Tigers had a lot of old timers that came in and gave us good stuff and good feedback. So I learned a lot, and I took off. So 14, I was in single A in Grand Rapids and really enjoyed my time there. And then I had a good season, so they put me on the 40-man. And then in 15, they sent me to double A. I was in Erie. In 16, I was still in the 40-man. They took me off like middle of the year. I was in between triple A and double A. But I really did enjoy my time there.
Where'd you stay at in Grand Rapids?
Oh, I stayed in Rockford.
You stayed out.
With the host family, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
People always ask, like, where was my favorite city to play in? No, it was definitely Grand Rapids. I loved it there.
The ballpark out there, it's Lake Michigan Credit Union ballpark now, not Fifth Thirds, but it's a nice little ballpark and got the berm. And it's always a good time going out there.
It absolutely is.
Rockford. I wouldn't have guessed that. I would have expected somewhere else. All right, cool. So then so you walk through, like you did really good things with the Tigers affiliates, and then they let you go, like you said at the end. And then you've just been 1-year contracts here and like pretty much ever since then.
Yep.
Like, what's your mentality going into every off season? Like you have a decision to make, like you have some things to think about coming up soon. Like, what's that like for you? Like, how do you get through that?
I'm basically just relying on God. I'm just staying faithful and hoping, things would work out. Off seasons are tough because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know when you're going to get signed, who's going to sign you, what the opportunities are going to be like. So I just try to, pray about it and work as hard as I can. This offseason, I was really blessed because I was in indie ball in 2000 or during the COVID year.
Mm-hmm.
And the Rockies took a chance on me again. So every year I feel super blessed and super lucky. And I'm continuing to get better at the same time. It's just like putting those games back to back more consistently. But in terms of like my mental and how I'm doing at the plate or how I'm doing on defense, my game's it's completed. It's just about being more consistent because I think I'm better than I was, when I was with the Tigers. Even though my numbers probably look better than I'm a better player, it's just I need to be way more consistent. So I've learned a lot, and every offseason I'm just hoping another team will give me another chance to ultimately make it to the major leagues and stick in the major leagues.
Yeah, you just play the game a lot differently than other guys. You let your emotion go, but it's always a smile. It's always those things that's really refreshing to see, and it just reminds that it is a game and people are having fun doing it. As a fan, you watch a lot of games and like you would never see anybody make emotion most of the time.
Yeah.
Not everybody, of course, but I mean, a lot of players, they didn't show any emotion. I don't know what kind of person they are or anything like that, but watching you play is just really fun. It's just really fun to see you enjoying it.
I appreciate that. Yeah, sometimes I let it come out more too, and that's what makes me play better. You know what I mean? And
yeah, definitely.
It really does. Even the other day, like I got pulled out for like a double switch, and they had the Carlton dance going on the TV for all the fans, and I'm like, let me get out there and do it. So I did it in front, and I had the crowd laughing. But it at the end of the day, it's a game. I mean, we're working, it's a job, but it's still a game, and we're so lucky to be playing it. So that's why when if I strike out or even if I hit, a million home runs, it's like I'm happy, I'm mad, but at the same time, I try not to get too high or too low because I know like everything's still going to work out and it's still a game.
Yeah.
Did it take you a while to get to that mental spot for that?
I've always kind of been like that for some reason. I think my brother just playing sports, they kind of taught me to try to stay kind of even keeled and focus on the next event. But like I said, when sometimes I'll do it it's natural emotion or to pump up my team. If I feel like we're not playing well collectively, I could do something a little bit extra, and then that might hype somebody else up. Because I know how it feels. Kozar struck out the side the other day, and he came in the dugout beating his chest. That hypes me up. You know what I mean? Like I'm proud of him for that. So I know what it feels like when I do it to somebody else, and they see me genuinely excited. It hypes guys up.
Yeah. I'm on board with all the emotions. Like James said, it's way more fun to watch like as a fan, and it just shows you a little bit more of who you are like as a person. Like I can see you out there. There he is. I get it. That's who he is, and that's just what he does, and it's pretty freaking cool. Like I just love seeing emotions. Cool.
Appreciate it.
All right, we'll finish with this. We always end our conversations with a few like get to know you questions, softball questions and stuff.
All right.
Who's the most athletic person in your family? Because your family goes pretty athletic. So let's start a family feud right now. And who do you got?
Man, it's hard to give up on myself, and I'm gonna go my oldest brother Walter, who played football.
Okay.
Humble approach. Humble.
Yeah.
I want to say me, but man, this dude ran a 4.3 and he broke the vertical record at UNM. Like I've seen him run. It's ridiculous.
I like that. Speaking of family feuds, what was it like being on Family Feud with the fams, Steve Harvey and all that?
Man, that was so sweet. That's just Steve Harvey's the coolest dude. He's cracking jokes the whole time. Our family had a good time. It was crazy how it all worked out, but yeah, it was just a fun time. I don't know. Like even the auditions were fun. We had to get there to the auditions. We were cracking up the whole time. Everybody's like, "Your family's for sure gonna be on." Steve Harvey, he was loving us too. He would talk to us in between segments and give us advice, crack jokes. Yeah, it was great.
So was that like a family collective decision to like, hey, let's go try out for Family Feud and see if we get on, or what was that? Like, how did that happen?
Me and my middle brother Wayne, we were playing the Nintendo game, but it was from like 1990, and we couldn't beat it because the answers were so old. We stayed up for like 4 hours, 5 hours playing, and I was like, Wayne, let's go on the real show. It's 3 a.m, and I look them up online, and I sent the like a description of our whole family within like 30 minutes. And the next morning, it was 9 a.m. and they emailed us back and they said, if you can make it to auditions in LA, then we'll see what we can do. So we went to auditions on Friday, and then we got in. So it was like kind of my decision, but Wayne thought I was joking. I was like, Wayne, we should go on the real show since we can't beat this Nintendo game.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. And final question. What is your best like baseball memory, baseball moment for you?
Okay. Oh, gosh. So many good memories. I'm gonna name a couple because I think I've been very blessed to like meet a lot of people in the game. So a lot of my favorite players I've met, and it's not one specific memory, but like Kenny Lofton and Ken Griffey Jr., Torrey Hunter, David Justice, all these guys have given me advice. And when I was younger, I used to look up to all these guys. So I'm really thankful for that. In terms of the baseball experience, I hit a walk-off grand slam in 2018. Actually tripped over third base. It made ESPN. I was like, I don't know what I was thinking. I was jumping in the air like I was Michael Jordan in Game 6, and I ended up tripping over third base. But I had waited, 28 years to hit a walk-off grand slam or even a walk-off home run, and I finally did it. So that was probably one of my best memories.
Yeah, totally worth it.
Yeah. Nobody's going to remember you tripping over it. That's awesome. I appreciate you, Wynton, for hanging out with us and talking ball. It's always a good time, and continue grinding, and hopefully we see you in purple real soon.
Yeah, keep having fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it was a good time. Appreciate it.
All right, take care,
Thanks,
guys.
man.
See ya.
Later.
Thank you for tuning in. Find more content at BlakeStreetBanter.com.